All right, let's just jump right in. For so many of us, the stock market feels like this exclusive club, right? With a secret language we were never taught. But what if there's a simple, really powerful method that just cuts through all that noise? Today, we're going to break down the Bogle Method, a genuinely straightforward path to investing that pretty much anyone can follow. So, here's the million-dollar question, isn't it? When you look at all those flashing numbers, the 24/7 news cycle, the hot tips from your cousin, it is so easy to feel like you're just placing a bet and, hoping for the best. And you know what? That feeling is totally valid. The complexity alone can be just overwhelming. It often feels like the game is rigged against the average person. So yeah, let's talk about that feeling head on. Let's really lean into that metaphor for a second. This whole idea of the market as one giant sprawling casino. Just think about it. It feels like you're trying to pick the one winning number, or in this case, the one winning stock, out of thousands of choices. It can feel like pure guesswork, right? A high-stakes game where you're always just one bad spin away from losing. And honestly, this is where most people get scared off, and for very good reason. But here is the big twist. This is the real game changer. What if you didn't have to play that game at all? This is where we get to introduce a completely different way of thinking. Let's call it the good guy approach to investing. So instead of trying to outsmart the casino, what if you could essentially own a piece of the entire casino? That's the core idea here. We're shifting your mindset away from being a speculator, someone who guesses, to being an owner, someone who just participates in the growth of the whole economy. Okay, so how do you actually do that? How do you make that shift from gambler to owner? Well, the answer is surprisingly, almost beautifully simple. It all boils down to something called the three-fund portfolio. And this is the part that I love. We're basically taking all that financial complexity, that tangled, confusing knot of information, and just straightening it out into one simple, direct line. In finance, we're often sold this idea that complex means better. Well, this method flips that completely on its head. And here they are, the three core components. That's it, it's this simple. First, a fund that holds a slice of basically every stock in the United States. That's for growth. Second, a fund that holds stocks from all around the world for even more growth and diversification. And third, a bond market fund. Think of this one as the stabilizer, the shock absorber for when the stock market gets a little rocky. You're not picking winners, you're just buying the whole haystack. Now, it's simple, we get that, but the real magic here is that this simplicity is also what makes it optimal. That's a huge claim, right? So what does that actually mean? I mean, really, why this specific combination? Why isn't it better to have like 20 different funds or to be constantly trying to find the next big thing? What makes these three puzzle pieces fit together so perfectly? Okay, so here's the key. It all comes down to how we define optimal. It's not about some secret trick to get the absolute tippy-top highest returns imaginable. That's the casino mindset talking again. No, it's about getting the best possible returns for the lowest possible cost and complexity. It's all about being incredibly efficient. And here's the why behind that efficiency. First, you are diversified across the entire globe. You own a tiny piece of thousands of companies, which means you're protected if any single one fails. Second, you're set up to capture the growth of the whole global economy over the long haul. And third, and this is probably the most important part, the fees are critically, incredibly low. Every single dollar you don't pay in fees is a dollar that stays in your pocket, working for you year after year. So let's just put it all side by side. On one path, you've got the roulette table. Pure guesswork, high fees that are constantly eating away at your money, and let's be honest, the constant stress of trying to time everything perfectly. And on the other path, you have the Bogle Method, a proven strategy, next to nothing in fees, and the peace of mind that comes from knowing you don't have to check your portfolio every 5 minutes. And this really brings us to the most powerful lesson in this entire approach. We have to completely reframe what it means to be a smart, successful investor. This right here is the mic drop moment of the whole philosophy. Stop trying to find the needle in the haystack. Just buy the whole haystack. When you own these broad market funds, your success is simply tied to the success of the global economy. You win when the market as a whole wins. It is truly that simple. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. We're all taught to believe that to succeed, you have to be smarter, or faster, or more clever than everyone else. But what if, in the world of investing, your greatest advantage is just having the discipline to be simple? Stay the course and let the market do all the heavy lifting for you.